Hello, my name is Carlos Gomez. My candidate number is 9015, and today I will be discussing the creative process that I took when designing my own magazine. Before I begin, I would like to mention my inspiration for choosing the topic of finance and business, and that would be the AAA blockbuster film The Wolf of Wall Street. This movie depicts what a life of fortune and financial success could look like, and that alone hooked me, grabbed my attention, and thrusted my interest into the world of finance. In the early stages of creating my magazine, I would look at a plethora of articles that relate to my topic. These of which were Money Magazine, Kiplinger Magazine, and lastly, Forbes Magazine. All of these publications piqued my interest for the topic at hand. When I began to read each magazine, I paid a close eye to the codes and conventions that each issue had. These observations later came in handy when drawing inspiration for my own magazine. I don't know if it was the cover of Money Magazine, where it depicts what almost seems like a mountain of money on its front cover, Kiplinger's colorful and elaborate to-do list on its front cover, or the prestigious billionaires that are on Forbes' cover. But all of these covers seem to be very interesting to me. When narrowing my choice for the magazine that I wanted to replicate, I chose Kiplinger, due to the fact that it would be very difficult for me as a high school student to mimic Forbes magazine, as I really don't have any access to any billionaires out there. And also, Money Magazine goes a little bit too over the top with its cover and topics. I chose Kiplinger Magazine because of the believable and relatable topics it chooses to discuss, and I just love the design of the cover. As I designed my cover, I took into consideration the codes and conventions that I would be utilizing, some of which included a large masthead that spans the top cover of the magazine and a large Franklin Gothic font, which catches the eye of the buyer as to what the magazine is called. In addition, above that, there is a slogan used which reads, "Invest in a better lifestyle." This helps advertise the magazine as a helpful publication and can serve the purpose of being catchy and easy recognizable to the reader. Also, a big red puff is used to give further context of what my magazine will talk about. Cell lines are used to give a little sneak peek of what articles are inside the magazine and could potentially entice the reader to buy it. Further, there are also further superfluous information in my cover, like for example, there's a barcode here which serves the purpose of making the magazine look more realistic. In addition to that, there is the date of the publication, January 2019, also serves the same purpose of making the magazine look more realistic. Now the main draw of the cover will be the picture, the main image. It's a picture of the TD Bank on Brickell, Coral Gables, Miami, Florida. It's a very luxurious bank. It's about money. I think it really captures the spirit of a magazine. It's very beautiful. It's a gorgeous picture, and it adds prestige to the cover as well. Further on throughout my magazine, we go to my spread, and I think that the first thing you see on my spread that catches your eye will be the font, which reads "The Guide for Miami Real Estate Investing." Now this font is scattered out throughout my magazine. I'm in love with the font. I think it shows a very elegant side to my magazine. It's a brush script font. It's used throughout everything. It's used on the cover, the spread, and as you can see later on the table of contents. It's a gorgeous font. I love it, and I think it really screams I'm an elegant magazine. In addition to that, there's a drop cap with the C. It shows to show that that's where the paragraph starts. But not only that, I did that because Kiplinger, which is a magazine I chose to replicate, doesn't do that at all for the most part. So I'm trying to move away from them and do my own thing. You can see that obviously with the drop cap and the different types of fonts. Also, the way the pictures are set up on the top. This in a real magazine, it will look like the two pictures are connected, but it's separate. So that's my own little touch on the magazine, my own little take on it. And I think it looks very, very, very good. The table of contents draws heavily from Kiplinger. I mean, Cambridge, Forbes, and Money, they all use a very blank, a white background for their table of contents. So I really wanted to pick my brightest and most gorgeous picture that I could find that I took, and that was of this hotel, the Biltmore Hotel in Coral Gables, Miami, Florida. It's a very prestigious hotel. Um, it has a very luxurious golf club. A night here can cost you up to $400, so it's definitely a 5-star hotel. It's very beautiful. So I took this picture. I always had to edit it to make the colors pop, because I really needed this picture to be on the table of contents, since usually the background is white. In addition to that, little subheadings also have color that comes from Kemlinger. It really needs it. I think it makes it look outstanding. Also, my touch is in here too, with the word content is in a beautiful brush script font that I love. And also the lettering next to it is in a Franklin Gothic font. Those are the two fonts that I primarily use throughout it, and I think it looks very nice. Okay, so the social group I am targeting are those individuals who want to better their economic standing. Like I said before, everybody wants more money in their bank account. So I want my readers to feel that they can better themselves, even if it's just a little bit. When they read my magazine, the problem is that many individuals do not know anything about finance. They don't know where to invest. They don't know how to buy a house, how to buy a good car, where to put their money in a bank account, how to get an interest rate. So my audience my magazine really serves for the financial illiterate. I draw them in with this, with hope of making more money, but in reality, I'm just teaching them these little tips and tricks on how they can become more financially literate, how they can make more money and make better investments. That's where the engaging process comes in. It comes from the fact that money is a primary factor when it comes to drawing or luring people in for almost anything. Everybody shifts their attention when it comes to making an extra dollar. My audience, my magazine capitalizes on that want and desire. It gives my readers tools to become successful in the financial world. The red puffs, catchy slogans, and clever sell lines all help to engage my audience into wanting to pick up my magazine and read it. When it comes to the distribution aspect of a magazine, I will want to create a website magazine. This method will create a long-term benefit and gain popularity in the magazine market. Some benefits include that it makes it easier for the magazine to be read to a broader consumer base. It has higher shareability and no storage limitations. Putting my magazine online will be the easiest and best method of distribution. Obviously, I am a high school student. I don't have access to like a big publicist or anything like that. And since I am part of this new internet age, I would love to capitalize it and take advantage of it. I will put my magazine on the internet. It doesn't cost any money, and basically the whole world can see it. So I think that would be the best thing to do. Here are some examples. Here we see like the 3 magazines that I've always talked about. We have Kemlinger, Forbes, and Money. They also put their magazines online. I think many magazine companies are shifting from this archaic way of using paper, and they're shifting it to the internet, which is way more effective and way more beneficial. Process of creating my home magazine. When I first began working on this project, I knew very little about how magazines are created, how magazines are formatted, or how pictures are even edited. I was mainly a process of trial and error, as I had to try and see what would look good. I spent many hours searching and scavenging the internet for videos or websites that could teach me on this topic. The 2 main programs that I used were Photoshop and InDesign. Photoshop was used to edit and crop my pictures, and InDesign was used for creating the spread of the magazine and also the table of contents. Since I had never taken a class on neither of these programs throughout high school, I was pretty lost when I first started. I didn't know how to crop photos, change the saturation, change the lighting, introduce a drop cap, line up the text right, or so much more. I had no idea how to do any of that. But thanks primarily to YouTube and the free help that is available on the website and on those free videos, I managed to become a pro during this project. So here is a picture that I took. It was of this very beautiful car that I thought it didn't end up being on my magazine, but I thought it looked cool. but as you can see, it had a lot of problems with it. There seems to be like an oil spill on this left picture that it looked very ugly, and it didn't stand out. So what I did was I wanted to crop out maybe part of the concrete to cover up the oil spill, which I did do. I mean, it looked alright. I mean, this is the first thing I ever did. And in addition to that, I blurred the background to make the car stand out more. Unfortunately, like I said, this didn't make the final cut, but it was a learning experience, and I did enjoy using Photoshop. It wasn't like InDesign. InDesign was very difficult. It's not user friendly. You really have to spend a lot of time on it, search up and do a lot of research to better yourself on that program, because that can be kind of tough. But I do feel I'm more comfortable using both programs. One last piece of equipment I used for this project was the camera present on my iPhone 7. These cameras are superfluous, they're everywhere. I didn't have to go out and buy an expensive camera since my phone already has a pretty decent camera that can take beautiful pictures. As you can see in my magazine, all the pictures look gorgeous. So I used my trusty camera and it worked out great. So that is pretty much all the equipment I used, all software and hardware. It wasn't much, but with that, I really created a beautiful project. So thank you so much for listening. This was the creation of Financial Affairs.